Hey everyone, welcome back to AFTV. Never in doubt, was it? Who was stressing? I mean, I was. That was that got a little bit nervy at the end. I actually think we'll kind of reflect on the fact that it was a 1-0 win, and the fact they got nervy at the end is probably not a great performance. And I actually thought the first half, I mean, if you're breaking it up, first 10 minutes, Zurich came out really well. We had to weather that. And then we got better, and I thought actually looked pretty good for the first half. And the second half, I don't think we did a lot, but at the same time, Jesus had his chance. We had a couple openings, and I still think we looked the better team, which I guess you'd expect at home and all that. But even away from home, I suppose you'd expect it. But they grew into it, and I think naturally the team are going to be a little bit scared about protecting what they've got. And Zurich are going to be fighting for it because they're trying to book their place in the Conference League, which they didn't do. I believe Bodo Glimt did seal that spot. It was a 2-1 defeat for them against PSV. But look, we got it done. And, no first team, I believe, in terms of the players we expect to play on Sunday, played a full 90. Aaron Ramsdale, maybe the only one. Oh, Gabriel. Gabriel did. Is that it? Pretty sure that's it. So I guess, he rotated the side pretty well in that sense, gave everyone probably the right amount of minutes. We'll see about Tomiyasu's injury, because that obviously is it's a shame because he's been playing really well. I thought he was excellent against Forest, and the whole left-back debate was a thing, but actually excellent against Forest and clearly does something to help us defensively from that area. But as PG mentions here, how incredible was Kieran Tierney today, attacking and defensively? Yeah, I thought Kieran Tierney was really good and made a little bit of a point to some of the doubters, especially with that goal. A really good strike, overlapping well, was taking on his fullback or whoever that wide defender was, and he did well. So look, there's positives from today, but more importantly on the show, we want to get your thoughts. So get your videos in via the number that's here. Am I pointing in the right direction? Go send in your videos via WhatsApp. That's the way to do it. I just saw a comment asking how do you get your videos in. That is the way to do it. You record a video about a minute long, send it through to us on WhatsApp, and Brennan will work his magic in the background, and we'll be able to play it live here and react to your thoughts as well. So how should we start? Let's go through some comments first. And then we'll kind of go through the game moment by moment. And actually, we'll have a little look at the other Europa League results and kind of see what we're left with, and who, again, revise who's kind of dropped down and what the Europa League is kind of looking like. Gunnar Vettel, you are spot on. Smash the likes as you come in. He's absolutely right. There are 1,200 of you live watching. Thank you for joining. And only 55 likes. So hit that like button if you're enjoying this video. Sachin says, Tommy will only be out for 2 Premier League games. We have Kieran Tierney and Zinchenko now. Sure, but it's still a shame because Tomiyasu is clearly the one that Arteta's relied on. And you don't want your players getting injured, especially one of Tomiyasu's quality. So we don't know the extent of the injury, but he didn't look happy, and hopefully hasn't affected his World Cup, because I know he'll be extremely disappointed if it has. So of course we wish him all the best on that front as well. But yeah, Zinchenko's return is timely. Yeah, that's worked out well, I suppose. But he didn't get any minutes today, so it's likely going to be Kieran Tierney starting. He looked a little bit uncomfortable at the end, but I'm sure he's fine. How can we look so different in the Europa League compared to the Premier League? I get our depth is not that good and all, but we have been very average for all of our Europa League games, in my opinion. Feel like the intensity is less, but it probably is, Vettel. Do I think the players go out there as motivated, as sharp, as hungry as they do for Premier League games? If you're saying the answer is no, then you're probably saying, well, that's not exactly good of them. But there's a big schedule to negotiate, to manage. There's a lot of games. Over a 38 game season, are you really giving the same? Well, that's just the Premier League. Okay, over a 50 to 55 game season across all comps, are you giving the same energy and hunger and design every single game? I'm not sure. So with there being changes that Arteta makes and some of the personnel coming in that aren't quite as good, if we're being really honest, maybe lack the match sharpness as well. And then you've got the drop in intensity from other players. I thought the great example was Martinelli against PSV last week. It's the one that Robbie talks about. Martinelli last week wasn't really in the game, didn't look at it. But then against Forest was lightning, especially the way he started that game. So, I think you're naturally going to see a drop-off. And because we've been so consistent in the Premier League in terms of our performances, bar Leeds and Southampton second halves, you know, of the 90 minutes, of the 12 games we played, the 12 90 minutes, you could probably only put a combined 2 or 3, 90 minutes or 100 and... I'm doing stupid maths. Basically, but the point I'm trying to make is you can only look at really one game where we've not been particularly good in the Premier League. So I focus on that consistency and those trends. Shaq says Eddie has to go, though he's not doing his job. I thought Eddie was okay today. I mean, I thought linked up well. I thought, towards the end of the second half, sort of phased out the game. Didn't get into a lot of good goal scoring opportunity. Into a lot of good goal scoring areas. But I thought generally played quite well. Running at players. I don't know. What I was saying. Jesus played well, but he needs that goal, says Pabalo. Yeah, let me ask you guys in the comments. That chance he missed, was that a good save? Did the keeper just come out too quickly for him? Or was it a bad miss? He didn't miss, he hit the target, but I don't know. I feel like it was more good save. Yeah, Vettel says good save. It feels more good save to me. Yeah. Time silence the bridge and humble Aubameyang, says Sudeep. Wow. Yeah, wouldn't that be amazing? It was a shocking referee, says Kevin. Didn't really notice anything that the referee got massively wrong, actually. So let me know, Kevin, what decisions you felt kind of went against us. What else have we got? Patrick saying Tomiyasu out for the World Cup. Well, we'll see. I've got Twitter open, so I'll see if there's any updates coming in from that. Kieran Tierney wants a game on Sunday, says Gooners 2004. Well, listen, he'll be giving his all to try and get... That is a player whose intensity doesn't drop whatever competition he plays in. And I think he was definitely playing to make a point. And look, with that Tomiyasu injury potentially, Zinchenko not being ready, I think Tierney's absolutely played himself into that position. If not by default, his performances in this game and some of the appearances recently, I thought it was good when he came against Nottingham Forest, have definitely earned him that place. Alright guys, I'll give my little breakdown thoughts on the game. Turkish is going to come and join us in a bit. James, you are mad. The ref was terrible. I just didn't notice we were talking about all sorts on the watch. But I didn't think it was that bad. I want to ask people in the room now while we get your thoughts from the videos that you've sent. The number is here. Send in your videos. Give us your thoughts. But let's hear what you guys are saying now.
So, full-time Arsenal 1, FC Zurich 0, and to be honest, that wasn't as easy as what we may have liked. I certainly thought we'd win more convincingly this evening. I've been watching the game from my apartment in Madrid, and we made hard work of that, to be honest. I think we had more than enough chances to make the game more comfortable, not taken. I'm starting to get a little bit concerned on Gabriel Jesus. I don't really want to say that, but he hasn't scored now since the North London derby, I believe. So he is doing so much for the team and has got so many assists this season. But I am at the point where I'm thinking in these sorts of games, maybe later on in the season, we might not be winning them, like we are right now. We're winning out a lot of 1-0s at the moment, but our luck might run out in the second half of the season. I'm personally getting a little bit concerned on Jesus, despite the fact he's playing well. Just think maybe he needs to score a few more goals at the moment. Yeah, 1-0 though, we got the job done, and really happy for Kieran Tierney that he got himself a goal, his first at the Emirates since July 2020.
Big up to AFTV, it's JD here from Malaysia. I must say it was a good win. 70 minutes we controlled the ball, and it was a slim win, but we got the goal. Tierney, what a rocket, man. He's back. Especially wore the armband today. I always liked Tierney as a captain. I always believed that he would be our captain one day, though. Scott and him, Overall, we did well on we move against Chelsea. And hopefully both our fullbacks, Tommy and Tierney, are okay, though. They went down, so it wasn't a good sign. Hopefully Zinchenko will be fit. And on we move.
Oh man, top of the group. So happy. Couldn't wait for that final whistle to blow. Man, Zurich played alright, they caused a few problems there in the box. A few times really bloody clenched my ass cheeks. Thought they were going to score almost. Ramsdale did a very good job. I hope Tomiyasu will still go to the World Cup because he's a phenomenal player. I love that guy. So I really hope it's not a serious injury. But yeah, man, happy about that. Can't complain at all. It's good bloody finally to watch a game in the morning over here in Australia. Look, nice sunny out there. Got the rest of the day to myself now. I hope everyone over there is doing well. looking forward to the next Premier League game. And if Arsenal comes to Australia next year, and if it's in Sydney, I'll come and meet you guys. So hope everyone's doing well. All the best. See you at the next game.
Hey guys, Max from Australia. Turkish, I gotta beat you up, right? I sent 4 super chats, yeah? A $20 one, a $10 one, a $5 one, and a $2 one telling you about the first super chat literally like 25 minutes ago when we're having that conversation. And you missed it. So, beat yourself up, but you missed my super chats. But moving on to the game, yeah? Yeah, we got through. I'm happy we got through. Can't wait to see who we get up in the next round. We got an important game against Chelsea after seeing Aubameyang's comments about us. I'm more fired up than ever, and I really just want to smash them 4-0. But yeah, and Turkish, last thing, yeah, missing our super chat, and you'll go down the list, and James will go up. I'll leave it at that. Thanks, guys. Come on, you Gunners.
Hi, AFTV. Congratulations to us Arsenal fans. Another win. By the way, this is Mike from Texas. I just want to say our team, slowly and surely, we're going to get over there. I'm so proud of the boys. The only thing I have to say is we need to cut off certain little, mistakes. I think it was Partey, towards the end of the game, you're trying to drive through from our defense, and he just got lucky over there because they had kind of like a breakaway. We just need to cut off some of those little, errors. I would like to see people releasing the ball on time, so that you don't put pressure on yourself and your teammates. But I'm proud of the team, top of the group, and now we go again on Sunday, Chelsea. It's going to be a good game.
Well, thank you for the video, Max.
Yeah.
Back into the building.
Literally, just now.
You won't want to go back and watch that one.
We'll send that to Turkish personally.
Basically, I'm moving up the list. Unlucky. But thanks to Max and Mike and everyone who sent in their videos as well. I thought the interesting talking point there, Charlene, was around Gabriel Jesus and whether, one fan or some are starting to potentially worry about the fact that he's not putting the ball in the back of the net. But I can't fixate on it when he's playing that well. Even today, I gave that big spiel before you came on about how, obviously, performances are going to drop naturally because it's not the Premier League or whatever. But actually, I don't really think his performance does. He's still, getting it in between players' legs and holding up the ball brilliantly and feels like everything connects when he's on the pitch. So, do you worry? Is this goal scoring thing that big a deal?
Jesus has been, talk of recently, obviously because he's not finding the back of the net. But I agree with you, James. I'm not majorly concerned because he is contributing to our performances in other ways. What about when he's doing everything that you've just listed as well as getting assists and he is impacting the game in a positive way? I think people are more fixated on the fact that he's our number 9.
Yeah.
So our number 9 is our striker who's meant to be scoring goals. And then the moment he isn't, everyone gets in a panic saying, oh, he's not scoring. But the good thing is he is contributing and other players are scoring goals. So at the moment, no, I'm not majorly concerned.
I don't know where the stress is. Is this all Erling Haaland's fault? because
Probably.
Liverpool and City, who have won the last 4 or 5 titles and been the best teams in the last 4 or 5 years, have done that without having a recognised out-and-out number 9, whether it be Firmino leading the line or, Salah's a goal scorer, but Mane's done a job there. Who else have you had? At City, they had Aguero, but then for 2 years it was Jesus, who's not an out-and-out goal scorer, and let's say, or they've had Foden as a false 9, De Bruyne as a false 9, Bernardo Silva as a false 9. I don't know where this stress comes from. We've scored 30 league goals in 12 games, which is the most I can remember by this point in the season. I think that's, you project over 38 games, that's something like 95 goals. That's the rate we're scoring at. I don't know why. If it's a passing comment, I wish he'd scored, but he's playing really well, fine. But which I guess is a little bit what people are saying. I don't know. I don't think it's worth stressing over.
Yeah, maybe it's a bit of anxiety from last season as well, when we had Lacazette and, our striker wasn't scoring then. So maybe it's a bit of anxiety from that. But,
Maybe.
we have got other players that are scoring goals.
But everyone's contributing. He's got 5 goals, Jesus. Martinelli's got 5. I think it's just in the league.
Yeah,
Saka's got 4. Xhaka's got 3. So they're all doing their bit.
There you go. We've got defenders that are scoring as well.
If Saka and Martinelli had 1 or 2 each, which is very possible, that what's still a pretty early stage in the season for a young winger in the Premier League, that wouldn't surprise me. But everyone's kind of doing their bit. So
we've even got Thomas Partey scoring goals. So.
Yeah, the same kind of goal actually.
Yeah, exactly.
They're always fun to watch. While I got you here, Charlene, I think we should have a little look at the Europa League groups, have a bit of fun, and start sort of thinking about who we'd want in the next round, because Arsenal and PSV have made it through.
Yep.
Fenerbahce and Rennes. Mm-hmm. Fenerbahce through undefeated as well.
Okay.
Betis and Roma. So Roma have a tricky playoff game to play against a Champions League dropout. I think they're going to be good games. Already you've got PSV, Rennes, Roma in that. Union Saint. I want to get this right. Saint Gilloise. Royal Union Saint Gilloise.
Pronounced.
Have I pronounced that right?
Really
Anyway, they're through top, and I remember rather rudely kind of being like I don't recognise that team. They beat Braga and Malmo to it. Union Berlin second place. Real Sociedad took first spot today when they only lost 1-0 at home to Man United. United got second place. Feyenoord and Midtjylland. Yep. Oh wow.
And then
that whole group ended on 8 points. Wow, that's crazy.
And the goal difference is both 4.
I'm gonna have to have a look at the fixtures from that earlier. So that's crazy. 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 defeats.
Literally.
And Lazio were actually they weren't the top scorers. No, I've read that wrong. Wow. Okay, that's crazy. Okay. Group G, Freiburg and
Nantes.
How do I pronounce that? Anyway, Olympiacos are out, so we can all breathe a sigh of relief about that. We won't be playing Olympiacos. Ferencvaros and Monaco second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Monaco, Nantes. No, I think it's pronounced in French. I think it's no. I think anyway. Midtjylland, Man United, Union Berlin, Roma, Rennes, PSV, and they're going to be playing Champions League. Let's have a little look. I read this earlier, but let's have a look one more time. That's not the table. Ajax, Leverkusen, Barcelona, Sporting, Salzburg, Shakhtar Donetsk, Sevilla, Juventus. There's going to be some good games there.
Going to be quite interesting.
Man United, Barcelona in the Europa League playoff. Can you imagine that, Charlene?
Oh, maybe, absolutely.
That would be, I'll tell you what, that'd be some good TV. Sambi improved second half, says Jude. What did you make of? I
think Sambi Lokonga. I think he done all right today. I know a lot of fans have been getting on to him, but I think he had a good game today. Nothing.
Yeah.
Majorly concerning. He was getting forward. He looked all right and composed on the ball. So yeah.
Yeah, his performance was interesting because he didn't get forward like Xhaka gets forward in that position. It was more Tierney underlapping and overlapping either side of Eddie, whether he was holding the width or not. So then what you had was basically Lokonga sitting and protecting and just kind of keeping things moving. And I thought in that game he wasn't particularly involved. Second half I thought he was better. I don't think he did loads, but I think he did fine. Patrick said poor game. But Patrick, what is
it that makes it a poor game for him? Because there was nothing that he done that I felt like, oh God, Sambi, why did you do that?
Charlie, this is exactly it. I'm so glad you asked that question. And Patrick, I absolutely respect your opinion, but I would like you to elaborate a little bit on that. What was poor about the game? What did he do that made you come away and go, he was bad? I can understand he wasn't great, didn't impose himself as much as you'd have liked, or maybe you hoped he'd come out as one of the players we're talking about. I don't really think he did a lot right or wrong. Dave Jordan says Sambi was fine. Witch hunt out for him and Eddie, I'm afraid. I agree with that, Dave. I absolutely agree with that. 4K Way says, I thought Sambi played well. Sambi had a great game this season, says Pabalo.
Well, it's nice to see that, you know, a majority of the fan base is sort of, you know, in agreement with us. But sometimes I just feel like people are just looking for someone to just blame something on because, you know, there's really nothing negative to say about Sambi Lokonga.
I'm not saying that's you, Patrick, by any means. That might just be your genuine opinion. That's fine. But I am in, like, I'd like to know, you know, I'm not going to be strong-headed on it. You know, you might give us some thoughts that maybe kind of change my perspective, but I just don't think he did anything wrong. Sambi's a Belgian international that will only get better with time, says Tony.
Exactly. Give the boy some time. Be patient.
Yeah. But then Julia says no team can finish top 2 with the likes of Sambi. I'm sorry. I mean, harsh. Sambi looks way better when we have a defensive midfielder instead of him, and he's a bit more progressive, says Erico. I agree.
I think that does compliment him a bit.
Dave says Charlie and beautiful souls like ourselves don't like hating on players.
Exactly.
You're hating on Kieran Tierney, Dave.
Oh, is he? I mean, we've
Dave,
got to big up our
agreed with you a month
players.
ago, but you're on me about Kieran Tierney.
What's he been saying about KT? KT was my man of the match
he's not
today,
good
by
enough.
the way.
Eddie needs to do better, not Premier League level. What did you make of Eddie today?
I think Eddie, he done well. He had a few chances, you know. I was hoping he'd put one of them away. But yeah, I think he had a decent game today as well.
I thought he was involved and busy and actually did, again, a lot of the, not as well as Jesus, but did a lot of the link-up stuff quite well. Did a lot of the combination stuff and the work ethic, and he was running at players a few times. But again, would you have hoped for a goal for him? Sure. Would you have hoped for him to, I don't know, just, you know, I think he gave us a 7 out of 10, 6 or 7. I'd have liked an 8 or a 9. But
yeah, I was hoping he would get on the score sheet today, you know, purely for the fact that, you know, he hasn't been scoring recently, and plus it's Europa League as well. You know, this is the competition that we want to see Eddie scoring in. So, yeah, and he started. So, for that reason, I was hoping that he would get on the score sheet. But, you know.
Dave's replied, Tierney is our 4th best fullback. That's a big compliment in the general ranking of fullbacks in world football. You know what? Fair enough. I'll give you that, Dave. All right, guys, we're going to go to some more of your videos, get some more thoughts, and then we'll do maybe little player ratings, talk about the goal, and sort of see who's played themselves into form for that big game against Chelsea on Sunday. Let's see what you're saying.
What up, AFTV? This is Theo from Georgia, USA. Quite a nervy match. Got the game done. I was uncomfortable all throughout while the game was 1-0. Really unfortunate that Tommy Hassan had to go out. Hopefully it's nothing serious and won't stop him from the game on Sunday against Chelsea. You know, most of the times teams like Zurich, you know, if you underestimate them at times, they might just shock you. We're able to like manage the game, and we're true. Hope, and we won't be playing any Champions League team dropping out. And we'll move to next game on Sunday. We need to have our A game, you know, to play, be at our best against Chelsea on Sunday. Big love to the AFT crew, Charlene.
Hey James, Richard here, Texas in America. I thought that second half was shocking, man. That was crazy. I almost had a heart attack. But anyhow, really great to see Mo back. I think Mohamed Elneny, if fit, is gonna play a key role if you are having a run in multiple competitions. Anyhow, big up to you guys, and thank you for the content.
Well, we got the win, but a disappointing performance. I think we were very average, painfully average. And I hope Tomiyasu's okay. Very happy to see Zinchenko warming up on the sidelines. I think unless Zinchenko's healthy for Chelsea, Kieran Tierney needs to play after that. Even if Tomiyasu's healthy. Be a very average all around. Nketiah terrible as usual. Gabriel Jesus. Another game where he hasn't scored, which is a shame. He's playing well, but it's just a shame. Elneny, I thought, played well, and we have high hopes for Sunday, top of the league.
Arsenal Fan TV, JR here from St. Lucia. Boy, it wasn't a great game, but we did the job. Great goal by Kieran Tierney. Big up to James in the studio. Got a quick question for you. Why is Bukayo Saka always have cuts on the back of his socks? I wish you'd answer that for me. Boy, looking at the team and at the game, I was hoping for a little bit more. You know, I saw the three Haaland boys come on. I was like, man, okay, let's give me something. You know, but it was a quiet game. I think that we're missing that connection with Vieira. You know, he did a little bit better today, but he doesn't have that same connection that Odegaard has with the front players. So it's just like we lose that creativity, and it just worries me that when we don't have those three front players, maybe injury or suspension, what's going to happen in the future. But anyway, we go to Chelsea. I think we've got our full squad available. So come on, you Gunners. Let's make me happy this weekend.
Hey, AFTV, it's Michael in Boston. Well, that wasn't very satisfying, but it got the job done. I think Tierney has to start against Chelsea. We cannot do without that kind of offensive firepower from the left back. We, ignorant of ourselves, beg often our own harms, which the wise powers deny us for our good, so we find profit by the losing of our prayers. Come on, you Gunners.
Sorry, I'm eating Doritos. This is what I do when I'm watching your reactions. I just get a bag of Doritos out and sit back and enjoy it. So you talk, Laurie. How are you?
We're not sponsored by them.
No, sorry. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah. I'm good.
Sure?
What?
Yeah, just very.
Yeah? Riveting stuff. Riveting.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a game for the ages, was it? But
it's not one of those that I'm going to go back home and play it back and watch it. But listen,
no,
it's another one of those, isn't it? It's job done. We got the early goal. Great goal by Kieran. Actually, let me just say from the outset, I'll big up Kieran Tierney.
Yeah,
it's great to see him playing tonight in his preferred position. Got the goal. Was outstanding throughout, and I want to see him keep his place in the team for Sunday. I hope the manager does.
Well, he might be forced to. I mean, if Tomiyasu's out injured, Zinchenko, can his first game back really be Chelsea?
I would have thought not, because listen, I mean, that Chelsea game's going to be full on for a number of reasons. But Tierney tonight, he looked up for it, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was outstanding. Man of the match by a country mile for Arsenal. Carried the team pretty much, and to me, he has to play in his preferred position.
Yeah.
This experiment with playing Tomiyasu there, and this is no reflection on Tomiyasu, who's also a very good player, very good professional. But I like to see players play in their natural positions.
Well, it's a preference thing. I mean, we've undoubtedly, Forrest, for example, Tomiyasu played left back and did very well. And the team played very well. But I know what you mean. It's a preference thing. I also prefer the left-footed overlapping option that Tierney brings. But again, maybe it's horses for courses. Maybe there's certain games where Arteta might think he needs that over what Tomiyasu brings, which is a little bit more of a wall in front of the defenders in the way he kind of holds his position, and he's quite good with both feet in central areas. I don't know.
So explain to me what the rationale is for playing Tomiyasu over somebody like, because with Kieran Tierney, you're not just talking about a fairly run-of-the-mill, mediocre left-back, are you? You're talking about one of the better left-backs in the Premiership, I would say.
Yeah.
A Scottish international, a guy that came to this club in a bit of a, you know what I mean, blaze of glory. So what is the rationale? I don't get it. What?
I'm going to give you
you tell me what the manager's thinking.
The reason I think it is very boring. It's a very boring tactical reason. But basically, I think what it is that left back position, he's asking his fullback not to bomb up and down the pitch, but actually to tuck inside and almost alongside Partey form a bit of a shield in front of the two centre backs. That allows Xhaka to get forward and Martinelli to hold the width. So what you get is this pitch where Tomiyasu's quite left centre, and he's a bit more disciplined, and Xhaka is able to get forward and Martinelli is doing what he does. I think with Kieran Tierney, you've got someone who more wants to attack high and wide in the areas Martinelli would be. So it's almost like it's on a pivot. So if that left back then is getting forward, that means the person who's in that area, which is Martinelli, comes more inside, which means Xhaka, who'd normally be in that position, is dropping a little bit deeper. So the triangle remains, and you've got them in slightly different areas. Basically, I think Tomiyasu...
So you're telling me that Tierney can't do that? No?
Well, I think he could and has this season. I think he can. I would have Tierney because I think he can do a little bit of both in game. But I think Tomiyasu is a disciplined, protective shield in front of the centre backs, and I think he's right-footed. Well, he's actually both footed, and I think while Tierney's very good in terms of as a crosser of the ball, and he strikes the ball very well, I think in terms of close control and passing between the lines, I think Tomiyasu might be a little bit better. So I don't know. Comments, help me. Does this?
I would beg to differ, and like I said, this is no reflection on Tomiyasu, who I really rate. It's just that I think that Tomiyasu is a right back and Tierney's a left back.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? And I just think that when you blur the lines and complicate things like this, I just think long term. Listen, I'm sure that Tomiyasu can come in and do a job in that position. I'm not saying that he can't. And if he's been forced to come in when we've had injuries, fine. But what I'm saying, now that Tierney's up and running, he's fit, he's strong, he's even scoring goals. Come on now. You know.
Well, Dave Jordan...
play the guys in their natural positions.
Dave Jordan explains it quite well. Tomiyasu is better centrally and stopping counters, helps us sustain pressure. He then adds that the Tierney fan club is the worst, but... Is it, of all the fan clubs you've known, is this really the worst one?
Listen, I am an elder statesman in this fan game. I'm not a fanboy of anybody.
Yeah.
Right? But it's just certain things just seem clear to me, you know what I mean? But hey, to go back to the game today though, you know, it wasn't the greatest game. It wasn't the greatest performance. But we won, we kept a clean sheet, we're through to the next stage. So you tick off all the boxes, it's a job done, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
how did Lokonga do for you? I know that you're a fan, you've been defending him as I have. I've been really defending him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, with Lokonga, he wasn't outstanding, but he did a job tonight.
Yeah, I think so too.
And, you know, once again, I've seen in comments on certain things where people are having a pop. I just think some people are just, what do they want? You know what I mean? From the Congolese Xavi. What do you want?
Well,
that's
sorry,
what I call it.
Dave,
Sambi the Congolese Xavi.
Dave says it's got to be up there with one of the worst. He's talking about the Tierney fan club. We're top of the league, and man are complaining because the T-shirt merchant is starting. Dave, you can't call yourself positive and have a go at the haters and then come out with comments like that. It's people.
What is he on about, that guy? What do you mean the fan club? Am I wrong in saying that Tierney was man of the match? He scored the only goal. It was a great goal. He had a great game. You know what I mean?
Well, Tierney offers
what's wrong
something.
With me stating that?
Well, Tierney offers something as a left back that no other player in our squad does, which is that ability to knock it past the player and run and get to the bar and across. It's very old school, but it's incredibly effective, and it's actually quite exciting to watch. It's not as I don't think he's as controlled a player as Zinchenko or Tomiyasu maybe when they play left back, but I think someone called Lil Brover says what James said. That's why Arteta prefers Tommy. Tierney is a victim of the preferred tactic. Yeah, that's it. Katie struggled there. It takes away from his strength attacking wise. Katie is more of an old school left back. Yeah, I agree. And actually, if you look at the way he played tonight's game and how he played against PSV, Xhaka wasn't getting as far forward against PSV because he was covering that space a little bit more so that Tierney could get forward. So the principles are the same. The way we approach the game is the same. But where the players will stand and how those roles differ is what makes a difference. Dave says Tierney played great today. When playing with an inside forward like Nketiah or Smith Rowe, it's a different skill set for different roles. This ain't the 70s, Laurie. Football has evolved, says Dave. He's coming for you. Does he come for you in your lives in the week as well?
So how is he coming for me? I've said that, you know, I mean, Tierney had a great game. He scored a great goal, and for me, he's the preferred left back. But he begs to differ. Football's a game of opinions as we move.
But Dave, I agree with you, by the way, in terms of the inside forward. That's exactly where he's.
Because I'm not saying that Tomiyasu can't do a job in there. What I'm saying is that, to me, Kieran Tierney would be my preferred left back.
Fair enough. That's it. It's just a preference. But look, this is a great problem to have. That,
yeah, absolutely.
You know, you can have a debate in every position. If you wanted, you could. Okay, Ramsdale probably keeps his shirt, but Saliba and Gabriel, there are some people who want Saliba and White at the back. And White played 10, 15 minutes at centre back against Forest the other day, and was okay. We were winning comfortably, but was still outstanding. And then, you know, you could have a debate about White and Tomiyasu right back, Tierney, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu at left back. The midfield.
Let's talk about an area of the pitch there is cause for concern, shall we?
on.
And that's further up the pitch.
Ooh, what's the
Because-
concern?
Right, so up front we've got some very talented players, most notably Gabriel Jesus, who came into the club, done really well initially, scored goals, excited the fans, showed, you know what I mean, excellent skills. However, in recent weeks, he's not scored. And, you know, you give him a bit of leeway because he's obviously trying his hardest. He's doing a lot of good work, providing assists for the team. However, in recent weeks, the goals have dried up. Now, that's not necessarily a problem in itself, but then Eddie's not scoring. I think both of them now are but none in 8.
Right, yeah.
To me, that's a slight concern because it's now getting to the point where you're thinking, it's highlighting the need for maybe we need to sign a striker in January.
Well,
because if I could just add
Yeah.
that as much as I admire Gabriel Jesus and I like what he brings to the team, if we're being brutally honest, we have to look at his previous record and say he's never been the most prolific of strikers, which is why he struggled to hold down a place at Man City, and which is why ultimately we were able to sign him. Yeah, they've gone for Haaland. The rest is history. But listen, without wishing to be mean-spirited or anything like that, goals win games, man. You know what I mean? Look at today, for example. We got that early goal, and towards the end there, we were struggling a bit, weren't we? Zurich started to really believe in themselves. They came at us a little bit, and they could have easily scored themselves. In that last 10, 15 minutes, they had a couple of really good chances.
I do think we have to be better at, you know, being more clinical, putting our chances away. But I just also think we've had such a massive step up from last season in terms of the actual general chance creation is better, and everyone's chipping in with goals. I spoke about it earlier with Charlene, so I won't really go over it again, but my thoughts on Jesus are, as long as he's contributing to what are actually really good team performances generally, I'm not too worried. I know what you mean. I'd like him to score more, but I'm not.
You're not worried, no?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
No, because he's playing really well. If I see it start to affect his performance, and actually his head goes down and he looks frustrated, he's not scored, and everything kind of drops, and we look a little bit tepid in the final third, then I'll start to worry. But actually, against Forest, I thought we looked really good. First half against Southampton, we still looked really good. So I'm not too stressed on that. Temedeo says, James, you're literally not reading any comment other than Dave Jordan. Do we always have to super chat to be heard? Temedeo, I mean, you must have tuned into the last 2 minutes because I read plenty of comments, and the number's on the screen for you to send your video. So this is the show to be heard. But appreciate your comment. Oh, the number's not on the screen anymore. Oh, my bad. But it was, and that's how you can send in your videos.
So you're not concerned then that Eddie's not scoring either?
Concern's not the word.
I mean, you can say that with the safety of a win tonight, but looking forward, I am earmarking that position of the pitch that it is. I'll be honest, man, it is becoming a slight concern for me.
So I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say concern. I worry more about the team performance generally. That's a lie. I do worry about individual performances.
I mean, listen.
No, I'm just not worried.
You were right to say that in terms of what he brings to the team and his overall contribution, great. However, the currency of a striker is what?
Yeah, goals. And I
and
know,
he's not
but
scored now. And this is what? 8 games. Sunday against Chelsea will be 9. Chelsea, with respect to FC Zurich, are going to be a totally different proposition than FC Zurich were tonight. It would have been nice for him to have got a goal tonight, go into that game with some confidence.
Yeah.
He or Eddie didn't score tonight. Didn't really look like scoring, really, if I'm being honest. So, you know, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, the people who are having a go at Sambi Lokonga, I think maybe you need to focus your attentions further up the pitch. Because I thought Sambi did okay today. He didn't do
yeah, I
anything
thought Sambi was
outstanding, but I thought he had a decent game. I thought he was a 6.5 out of 10 tonight.
Giuseppe,
Maybe even a 7, actually.
Giuseppe says, Jesus, for me, is not a concern because of his hold-up play, assists, and winning the ball for himself is excellent. And the frustrating thing is he keeps getting fouled. Defenders are scared of him. I definitely agree that defenders are worried about him.
I would beg to differ. If you've got a striker, yeah, and he's not scored in 9 games, to me, that is quite a lot, isn't it?
What's that, sorry?
That's enough to raise a red flag.
What, no goals in 9 games?
If he goes on Sunday without scoring a goal.
Yeah,
especially at a time when your backup striker is not scoring either. Surely the red flags have got to go up, haven't they?
I'm not one of these people that says just because we're winning and we're doing well doesn't mean we shouldn't highlight the things that aren't going right. You know, we shouldn't just blindly be like, oh, we're winning, so nothing else matters. So, I do get entertaining this idea that Jesus hasn't been scoring, so you know, we should talk about that now and actually maybe figure out why or talk about whether we're concerned. But I can't help but feel that because the team is playing so well and he is such a part of those good performances, that I just forgive the lack of goals. You know, because ultimately we scored 5 against Forest. We had the chances against Southampton, albeit he missed a couple. He'll get there. He'll get back to scoring goals. I'm not concerned about it, actually.
It's interesting because it brings back that whole argument, isn't it? Remember when Aubameyang was playing for Arsenal?
Yeah.
And he would be scoring regular.
Yeah.
And people would say, oh, but he doesn't do anything else but score. And people like me would say, well, actually, that's what he's in the team for.
I get
to
that.
Score goals. Now, this, you know, in many ways is the reverse of that, isn't it?
Yes.
We're winning, but I don't know, man.
I hear what you're saying, but the thing I'd say is, did Aubameyang scoring make us feel that much, make us feel that great when ultimately we were 8th? And what I mean is that's not his fault because the team around him wasn't good enough and there were other issues. But that season where we did finish 8th, it started Emery, he came in, Arteta, we still finished 8th, won the FA Cup. His goals won us the FA Cup and that's fantastic. Before that season, I don't look back on that and go, but you know what, that was great because Aubameyang scored lots of goals. So I don't care. He could have scored 10 for all I care. Ultimately finished 8th. What I do focus on is the fact that we are top of the league and playing really well. And it's not like we're playing well and Jesus has been all right, or we're playing well in spite of Jesus missing his chances. We're playing really well because he is leading the line in an exemplary way. You know, he is contributing so much. You know, not least the assists he got for Nelson and a few others on the weekend. So I get you. I get what you're saying.
No, listen, you make a very good point there. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're top of the league and he is contributing in a significant way, then really and truly we shouldn't complain. And I'm not complaining. All I'm doing is I'm raising it as a slight concern to say, look, I mean, why has he stopped scoring? Maybe we need to look at that.
He's just been missing his chances.
Some people are saying he's dropping a little deeper when really he might be more invested if he was further up the pitch so that when the opportunity comes he can score. Or is it like you said, maybe his confidence is not quite there in terms of his taking chances?
I'm trying to think of
what is it, do you think?
I'm trying to think of the games he scored in. Northumberland Derby, 2 against Leicester, Villa. I mean, oh God, this is going to sound like I'm being really critical. I'm not, but you know, the 2 goals against Leicester, one was a brilliant finish, you know, when he opened his body up, found the far corner. The other was a header at back post. Lloris made a mistake on the Tottenham one. I think maybe some of those little, you know, should Emi Martinez have done better with his goal against Villa? I don't know. I'm trying to.
Some of the goals he scored have been like instinctive pieces.
Maybe kind of. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I actually don't know why. But again, the performances haven't dropped. Temideo says, if people are scoring, why is Jesus being scapegoated? He already has more goals than our forwards last year, and we're in November. The team is scoring, and it's a concern, but not a dangerous one.
Now, you see, that comment there is exactly what I didn't say. I'm not scapegoating him. You've heard me. I've said, I've given him his flowers. I've said he's playing well. I actually said he's making a significant contribution. So, come on, bro, whoever that is, put things in proper context. I'm not criticising the player. I'm saying the fact that neither he or Eddie I said he and Eddie, you know what I mean? I didn't just scapegoat him. I was quite clear. I said Jesus and Eddie. It's a slight concern that none of our strikers at the moment are scoring goals. Yes, we're winning games. We're scoring goals from other areas of the pitch, which is fine and dandy. But come on now. I think it's right that we should, you know what I mean, raise it. I'm not saying to zero in on it and start hyper criticising people. I'm looking for solutions as to why it might have happened.
That's a fair question. Dave says Aubameyang has never won a league title despite scoring 20 goals a season. What does that tell you? Moi?
What does it tell you?
Well, that scoring goals isn't everything, I suppose. Moy says, I'm not concerned about Jesus not scoring. His contribution is immense. What about turning Nelson into a striker like Wenger did with Henry? Well, there's a long way to go, but...
I think with respect to Reece Nelson, he's no Henry. I think to put him in that bracket is a little bit harsh, to be honest.
Jesus will bang again when Zinchenko is back, says Lil Bro. There you go, maybe that's the answer.
Maybe that's the answer.
Fern says, James, remember when Laka was working hard but not scoring? People from your station would say, Laka is in the team to score. I don't think I ever got particularly onto Laka for not scoring goals. I wanted more goals, but it's nice of lead judges to walk in making a racket. Hello, Lee. And now he's telling everyone else to be quiet. You're right there, Lee. We're just live on full time. Yeah, no worries at all. It's okay. The fans love you. They're going to call for you in a sec. I don't think I was onto Lacazette for... maybe I mentioned it.
No, you wasn't. Some of the fans were.
No. Anyway.
But have I opened a can of worms with that statement? I hope I haven't.
No,
but it's something. It's a talking point, though, isn't it?
No, it is.
It's something that, in watching the game, did come to my mind. I must admit, I was thinking that when I was watching. And like I said, I'm not denigrating from the positives that he's bringing to the team, which are overwhelming. It's just that if he's not scoring and Eddie's not scoring, for me, that is a slight concern.
Fair enough.
We are creating a lot of chances. We're just not putting them away at the moment.
Let's round off the show with getting your thoughts on the fact that we've qualified top. We've avoided this. It's not even a round of 4-32 because it's a playoff between 16 teams or something. And we've avoided some big sides: Barcelona, Sevilla, Juventus. They've all dropped into the Europa League. Leverkusen as well. And the second place teams are interesting. Roma being one of them, Man United being another. So we're going to have some good fixtures to watch when that playoff comes around. But more importantly, we've avoided ourselves a playoff game, an extra 2 very intense games, a home and an away leg, which would have come during a very busy part of the season, and against a very tough side. There's not, whether it's Shakhtar Donetsk away, Ajax, whoever it might be, there are fixtures there that I would not want to play, especially when we're just kind of getting back into the rhythm post World Cup. And there's a lot of football to play. So I guess we've got the job done by hook or by crook. It wasn't really by crook, but it certainly wasn't pretty. We've avoided that.
Well, I said at the top of the show, didn't I? I said it's a job done. And at the end of the day, this is, I'm sure you would agree with me, a very important competition. Clearly, the Premier League is a priority. But make no mistake, this is a big competition for us. And we should pull out all the stops to try and win it, and I think we do have a chance.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I think we definitely have a chance of winning it. I think the longer this run in the Premier League goes, the more our eye gets taken off the Europa League, and look, that might feel natural. I mean, Liverpool have fought on 3-4 fronts at once, but they had real depth, from Diaz to Firmino to Salah to Jota to Mane to Origi to call on. In midfield, Thiago, Henderson, Keita, Elliott, Fabinho. And I know some of those players are in bad form now, but last season they all did their part. So I think if Arsenal are to go and compete on all fronts, go get busy in the transfer window, get 1 or 2 players back. Now you've got El Neni, Zinchenko back fit, and you've got Smith Rowe. That could be 5 players available for this run-in and for the second half of the season that we didn't have for October. So that could be crucial. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Let's just go through the super chats. AFC Max says, I know James won't read the super chat. Oh, wait. Then he comes back with another, says, Turkish James will get sponsored by Doritos before you. And you'll also read this super chat. Big up James and Turkish. Babiello just sends in a super chat. Thank you very much. AFC Max again says, here we go with the Jesus slander. Leave Jesus alone. Laurie, he's fine. We are scoring goals all over the pitch. Come on. And I believe he sent in one more, which I don't want to miss. Yes, he did. He sent two more. No. Here comes the Jesus scapegoats by Laurie. What more do you want him to do? You are critically analysing him every week. You're on common. You're on common. He's putting 9 out of 10 performances every week. The team is scoring all over the pitch and we're winning games. Why are you complaining about Jesus? I'm not worried. Would you like your right of reply?
I just wish these people would listen.
I know you've made your point.
If they listen, they would.
You have made your point.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
I said it's a slight concern.
Yeah.
Somebody, contextualize that and work out how you've gone from me saying slight concern to me scapegoating a player.
I know. Well, Dave
Jordan
did
include Eddie in it as well.
Yeah. Dave's got your back. Says big up Laurie. Max rattled. DJ Brito says some fans don't understand football or just not real Arsenal fans. Team did the job. That's what matters. Nketiah, let's get this. Nketiah with first team minutes will score goals. Dapo says Laurie just likes playing devil's advocate. Still wants Pepe to get a chance. I bet. All fair points though. Big up you all. So he's actually saying he made four fair points and he's bigging you up. That's hilarious. But yeah. Giuseppe says, what a goal from Kieran Tierney. And then he puts Reece with a clapping emoji. I actually thought Reece Nelson did well today. I thought at times he looked very good. Jesus to score versus Chelsea. I hope you're right, guys.
Listen, let me just finish by saying this. If Jesus scores against Chelsea and we win the game, I'll be the first one to come on here and apologise. How's that?
We'd all love to see it. If he scores, that means we've got a better chance of winning.
Which I hope he does.
So, go get the
win the game. You can quite happily have a pop at me and I will personally come on here and apologise. But all I was doing was saying it's a slight concern. I'm not scapegoating anybody.
While I don't necessarily agree, I think your point's still fairly valid in some way. But anyway, guys, we're going to round it off there with some final clips that you guys have sent in. Thank you, as always, for letting us know your thoughts. Arsenal have got the job done. They've avoided what would have been a pretty chaotic, messy, difficult hurdle in terms of that playoff to get to the round of 16 of the Europa League. And actually the beauty is we don't have that extra round to play like in previous years. It's a case of going straight into the round of 16, win that, and you're into the quarters. Competition starts to get really exciting. And I tell you what, some good teams in there, some big teams. It's going to get very, very interesting. The Europa League, as the years have gone by, has got more and more interesting and more tasty with the clubs and the general improvement in some, the dropping of others, and yeah, we'll see how Arsenal do, but well done to the boys for getting the job done. Well done to Mikel Arteta. Arsenal, top of the Premier League, top of this group. Group stage all sealed. Let's get your thoughts as we round off the show. Many thanks as always.
What's going on, AFTV? Dini here. 1-0 to the Arsenal, through to the last 16 of the Europa League. That's 2 games now missed out in February. Man United have now got to play 2 extra games because they didn't finish top. And depending on where we are in the league, by then, that's another top 4 team that's vying for top 4 that needs to play 2 extra games, so that comes into hand as well. But yeah, you know, we had chances in the game. Eddie had a chance, it was safe from the keeper from the header. Vieira had 2 chances. One was actually blocked by Jesus, and one, if he just placed it more in the corner, I feel like we would have went 2-0 up. But yeah, do you know what? I'm happy, and I'm not even going to complain too much because we're through, we're top, and we got to Chelsea on Sunday, and that's the next big game. Because I like being top of the league and I'd honestly like to stay there. I'm just going to say that much. So, yeah, let's go to the bridge, turn them over. Come on, you Gunners.
Hi, AFTV. This is Maxwell from France. That was actually a very topsy-turvy game. And I still didn't, just gonna say one thing. I do not understand why Saka needs to come on. He just got a knock previous game. He got subbed the previous game. There was a doubt about his fitness and we brought him on. What is going on? I mean, it's like we play with fire. That we just are riding our luck, aren't we? You know, I was hoping and praying that nothing happened to him. You can actually see the way he was playing. It was a bit gingery, wasn't it? He was playing carefully not to get injured, because we know we have a big game on Sunday against those guys around the corner. So it was actually a shame that he played. But apart from that, it was a good game. But the end of the game was quite horrible. I just hope that we are ready, for Sunday. Big up.
Good evening, AFTV. It's me, Ryan, from Southwest London. What can I say, man? Arsenal 1, FC Zurich 0. Great goal from Tierney today, man. I thought Tierney was excellent today, man. His recoveries, his interceptances and everything like that. His positional play. I honestly want Tierney back in his first 11, man. Tierney is Arsenal's first choice left back. I love Zinny, and Tomiyasu's done a good job there, but Tierney has to start games for Arsenal now, man. A bit of a scare at the end when he came off, but when he had that knock, but I'm glad that he continued playing. But on the game today, man, honestly, I think the referee was shocking tonight, man. Like, some of his decisions, I couldn't understand at all, man. But like I said, it weren't the best performance from the boys, but sometimes at this stage of the season, it's all about the result, not always the performance. Luckily, we're top of the group, and we're top of the leagues right now, man. Top of the Premier League, top of the Europa League. Chelsea on Sunday, it's going to be a hard game. Let's go, man. Like, hopefully Saliba can do a job on Gabriel on Sunday, man, because we need to beat Chelsea, man. We need to maintain this lead that we've got at the moment. So let's just hope we could kick on from here, man. Arsenal for life, man.
Big up AFTV. Juan here from San Diego. I mentioned it on the chat that I think the players played it very smart, along with Arteta, obviously, when he started the starting lineup, and then he started the game, and then brought in all the changes. I think it was really smart on his part, and on the part of the players to put that game into that pace, because we have a really live changing, I would say, games, 2 games before the World Cup, against Chelsea and Wolves at the league, and then that's what we need to secure right there. And once we can secure those games, we can go quiet. Hopefully the World Cup will help us with not having any injuries from all the players who are going to their teams, but we're good. I think we're fine. We're secure the first place on the group, right off to the next stage. Bring on whoever. I think Arsenal this year, I have the feeling, come on, you Gunners.